to Southside United Time for Kids. It's great to see you. Thanks for joining us again. We meet on land that God created, and the Yagara and Turrbal people have cared for this land, so we pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. Shall we say our prayer together? Everybody up, give yourself some space. Ready? From the top of my head to the tips of my toes, from the lobes of my ears to the end of my nose, from my back to my front to my wiggly fingers, God loves me. Let's sing about a great big God. Let's sing. Ready? Let's go. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. He's higher than a skyscraper, and He's deeper than a submarine. He's wider than the universe, and beyond our wildest dreams. And He's known me, and He's loved me since before the world began. How wonderful, being part of God's amazing plan. Ready? Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. He holds us in His hands. He's higher than a skyscraper, and He's deeper than a submarine. He's wider than the universe, and beyond my wildest dreams. And He's known me, and He's loved me since before the world began. How wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan. Ready, let's go. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. Last time, everyone. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. 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 Isn't it great to have a great big God? Well, hope you haven't been washed away over the last few days. Lots of rain coming down, isn't it? It's been good. See the nice green grass growing. Go out the ocean, you see nice blue. I know someone else who's blue that we love to see. Grover. Maybe we could be a bit of rain. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Grover. Hi, Richard. Hey, Grover. How are you?
Oh, I'm all right.
All right. What's wrong?
Well, I think maybe I'm a bit young. A bit young for this.
Really? You know, it's all right to be young.
Oh, yeah, but there's only so many things you can do when you're young.
You know, there's lots of things you can do.
Oh, like what?
Well, do you know that the youngest person to win an Olympic gold medal for Australia was Sandra Morgan in,
Yeah, when?
in 1956 at the Melbourne Olympics? She was part of the 4x100 metre relay team.
Oh, how old was she?
She was 14 years and 6 months. That's pretty young, isn't it?
Oh, it is young. Well, that's just one person.
Well, the youngest person to win an individual Olympic gold medal for Australia was Shane Gould, and she was aged 15. She was also the first woman to win 3 gold medals, each in world record time, in individual swimming events at the 1972 Munich Olympic Games.
Oh, 15. Well, that's a little bit older than 14.
Well, how about the youngest person to compose a musical?
Oh, I like music. La, 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 la.
Okay, was Adam Lerinks from Hungary.
born in 1988, who was 14 years and 76 days when his 92-minute musical Star of the King was performed on August the 16th, 2002 in Hungary.
Oh, wow, that's 14 and a bit. That's pretty young to write a musical.
Well, I think that's good. The youngest person to ski on all seven continents is Victoria Ray White, beginning at the age of 9 years and 88 days in Zermatt, Switzerland, and ending at the age of 10 years and 79 days in Winter Park, Colorado, in the US on the 16th of March 2008.
Wow, just a bit over 10 years when she'd gone on 7 continents and skied. That's pretty young, but it might still be too young.
Well, the youngest person to be a radio presenter is Kimberly Perez in the USA, who hosts a show every Saturday from 3 to 7 p.m. on KLAX 979 La Plaza FM in Los Angeles, California. And she started when she was 5 years old.
5? Oh, wow. That's younger than most of these people.
It is. But that's not the youngest thing.
Oh, what? Can you get younger?
The youngest person to be a professional artist was achieved by Arushi Bhatnagar in India. You didn't say that right, I probably didn't, but that's all right. She had her first solo exhibition at an display in Ujjain, India on the 11th of May 2003.
Oh, was she like 4?
No, she was 344 days old, or 11 months old.
She was 11 months old and she had her first art exhibition?
She did. So young people can do lots of great things.
Oh, maybe I can do some great things.
I think you do lots of great things, Grover.
Really?
Yeah, Grover. And we think about that because our readings for today about someone who was young. Josiah. He was a king when he was 8.
That's pretty young.
That is pretty young, isn't it? He's younger than some of you who are watching. You could be king or queen. And so he was the king, and he made some changes. They'd forgotten about the temple, so he got them to clear out the temple, take away the things and the idols that people had been worshipping so they could focus back on God. And they were reminded of the law. Which reminds me of a story.
Oh, I like stories. Can you tell me the story?
I can tell you the story. The story's about Laura.
Laura?
Oh, because we're talking about the law. No, not that. Her name is Laura. And one Tuesday after school, Laura said to her mum, "Ask me again about the school rules, Mum." Because Laura had been learning the rules her teacher had everyone follow in class. I bet you remember your school rules, don't you, and your class rules? I hope so. And every day she loved reporting back to her mum how she was learning the class rules. And so far this term, Laura was really proud of keeping the first 3 rules. It was the last one that was the hardest.
Oh, there's always a tricky one, isn't there?
There is. "Okay," said Mum that Tuesday. "Tell me the school rules, dear."
You are funny, Mummy.
Thank you. Laura screwed up her face as she concentrated. Then she repeated from memory the sign on the classroom wall. "Arrive on time." Oh, that's a good rule. "Say please and thank you."
Oh, that's a very good rule. I like that rule. You should always do that.
"Always try your best."
Oh, I try my best all the time.
And the number 1 rule for everyone, everywhere: treat others as you want them to treat you.
Oh, I like that rule. That's a good rule.
That's a hard rule. That is. "How did you go today?" asked Mum.
Is that Mummy again?
It is. "I was on time this morning." And I said please every single time I asked for something. To borrow Natalie's pencil sharpener. For David to fill up my water bottle at lunch. Oh, and to take turns with Assad on the skipping rope at gym. I said thank you to the dinner ladies for my soup and sandwich, and to the janitor for helping us take the recycling bins out. I tried my best at most things, Mum. Mr. Johnson said he could see I was putting in more effort at skipping today. I'm getting better.
That's good. She did really well.
Yes. And how did you go on the number one rule for everyone, everywhere? Laura sighed. Oh, Mum. Treat other people the way you want them to treat you. That should be easy. Why is it so hard? It's hard to even remember that rule. Then it's hard to do it. I saw Kirsty sitting on her own at lunchtime, and I didn't ask her to play with us. I would have wanted someone to ask me to play with them if I was sitting on my own, but I didn't. Do that for Christy. Why is it so hard? Mum sighed too. Laura, I wish I knew. You're right. We all forget very easily. Laura was surprised to hear her mum say that even grown-ups found it hard to follow the number one rule for everyone, everywhere. Treat other people the way you want them to treat you. What can we do then, Mum?
Oh yeah, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do?
Let's just keep reminding each other. Will we? Because then we'll have the best chance of doing the right thing and not always forgetting. I think it's a rule we just need to keep seeing and reading and saying and hearing over and over again. I know I need to be told more than once. I need to hear it lots of times. Treat other people the way you want them to treat you. That's something I've never wanted to forget. Thank Mum, you're the best, said Laura. You didn't do Mum's voice, I didn't do Mum's voice. But that's pretty cool, yeah. So it reminds us we need to keep remembering. And the problem for the Jewish people is they'd forgotten about the law. They hadn't kept reminding themselves. And in fact, the law tells us to talk about it when we rise and when we go to sleep, when we're walking, to write it on our doorsteps and on our foreheads. We need to keep reminding ourselves, not so that we follow the law so that God will love us, because God always loves us, but so that we can treat others well as he treats them.
That's so cool, isn't it?
That is cool. So we need to keep reminding ourselves. And thanks for Josiah for finding that law.
Yeah. We need to keep reading the Bible, so we keep reminding ourselves.
We do. Hopefully you read it regularly. Get your parents to read it to you. That's good. You can read it by yourself too. Wonderful. Well, we've got to go.
Oh, we've got to go, but where's Sunday school?
Sunday school this week at Tarragindi. So 8:30 at Tarragindi. Hope we might see some of you then. Have a great week, and we'll see you again next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.